Good day, good day, good day. Welcome to our first grade 10 maths lesson. So today I'll be covering exponential laws. And if you're new to our channel, I'll advise that you subscribe and go through each playlist. There'll be different playlists, one for grade 10s, one for grade 11s, one for grade 12s. So please go through each playlist. And then there'll be two different topics that you guys are covering at school. So I hope this video will at least help you guys on how to approach exponential questions. So without wasting any time, I'm going to go straight to the exponent. So from previous grades like grades 8 or 9, they taught you guys that whenever you write a number, for example, I can write 3 and then I can put an exponent there, let's say 2. So automatically this becomes 3 to the power of 2, which if you were to put in your calculator, that should give you 9. So the other way you can easily do this without the calculator, you can just multiply 3 twice. So the exponent means they're going to multiply 3 twice. So it'll be 3 twice. So if it's 3 to the power of 3 again, it will be 3 times 3 times 3. So you'll be multiplying 3 times. If it's 4 to the power of 5, therefore you're going to multiply 4 5 times. It will be 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 times 4 until you get the answer. So the first rule that I want to talk to you guys about is the addition rule. Is the addition rule. If I were to have two numbers, let me use letters because it's much easier with letters. Let's say I'm having x. Then I'm going to use dot s times x times, let's say x to the power of 2 times x to the power of 3. So with the first rule, it states or stipulates that if you are multiplying the same base, by base we mean it can be a letter or it can be a number. These two are the same base, which is x and x. Can be a number or it can be a letter. So if you are multiplying the same base, you must add the exponent. So therefore, one of the base will come back, which will just be x. Then you add the exponent, which will be 2 plus 3. So therefore, your answer will be x to the power of 5, because 2 plus 3 will be 5. That will be your answer. So same thing again, I can have, let's just use k now, because my name starts with k. K, let's say k, and then I'll say multiply by, let's say k to the power of, just call it 2, for example. So remember, always remember with exponent before I forget. So whenever you see any number, can be 1, can be million, can be 10, or if you see any letter, it can be K, can be Z, can be D, can be C. There's always an exponent of 1, even though they don't write it down. But that to the power of 1 is always there, next to the number or the letter. Example, if you were to put in a calculator 1 to the power of 1, that will give us 1. So any number to the power of 1 is always equals to that number or that letter. So here I've got K. Always know there's a 1 that is there, even though they won't show it to you guys in the exam or test. So whenever you see a letter or a number, just know there's a power of 1. And remember, based on the law, these two are the same base. Because they're the same base, therefore, we're going to add the exponent because we're mapping the 2. If we're mapping the 2 and they're the same base, we're going to add the exponent. This will be 1 plus 2. And then therefore, k will be equals to 3. 1 plus 2 will be 3. So that's the first rule, which is the addition rule. So if you've got the same base, you add the exponent. That's the first rule. It can be letters, for example. I can use let's say use numbers now. Let's say I've got 2 to the power of 2 times 3 to the power of 4, for example. No, that won't work. I must use the same base. Okay, let me erase here. I'm using different base, which will be wrong based on the rule. Okay, let's use 2 times 2 times 2 to the power of 4, for example, times 2 to the power of 4. So therefore, based on the rule, our answer will be 2 to the power of 4, 2 plus 4, which will be 6. Our answer will be 2 to the power of 6. That will be based on the first additional rule. So you can do as many examples. For example, for practice, please write on your comments the answer. Let's say I've got y to the power of 4. Write the answer on the comment section. Then y to the power of 6. And then what will be your answer? For the first one, what will be your answer using the first rule? And then also, let's just do 2 for practice sake. Let's say I've got c and then 2 times c, times c. Then you guys will tell me the answers in the comment section. That'll be the first rule. So these are the 2 that you're gonna try in there as you practice in the comment section. And then that will be that for the first rule. So I'm gonna go straight to the second rule, which is the I call the division rule, because I will be dividing on this one. For example, let's say I'm the same again based on this rule. If I've got the same letter and they are dividing, you must always subtract the exponent. Let's say I put 2. So let's say I've got y6 divided by y2. It's the same base, but they are dividing each other. So if you've got the same base dividing each other, you must always subtract the exponent. This will be 6 minus 2. So therefore, your final answer will be y to the power of 4 based on the second rule. So if they're dividing, you minus the exponent. Remember the first rule, if they are multiplying the 2 base, we add the exponent. So just do another example. Let's say I've got c divided by ca, we can just say c3 divided by c. Again, the same rule will apply. So remember they're dividing, so it will be c3 minus, remember there's always a 1 which is not there. If they give a letter, there's always a 1 which is there. So this will be 3 minus 1. So therefore this will be c to the power of 2, which will be our answer. So, and again, for practice sake, you can try this one. Y to the power of negative 4, then divide by y to the power of let's just say to the power of negative 6. And then just try that one for me and see if maybe it will make sense. So this will be an example for the second rule. So the first rule just covered, second rule just covered, and then you can just do more examples. Again, remember, it can be numbers as well, as long as it's the same number. For example, I can have 2 to the power of 4 divided by 2 to the power of 2. So now again, using the rule, this will be 2 to the power of 4 minus 2, which will be the exponent down there is 2 minus 4 minus 2. So it will be 4 minus 2. So our answer will be 2 to the power of 2. So again, you can test in the calculator and see if that will give you the same answer. 2 to the power of 2, we know it's 4. So test in the calculator and see if you divide this whole number as it is, will it give you 4? Because it's supposed to give you 4 based on the second rule. So okay, let's quickly go to the third rule, and then I think I'll do the fourth one also separate. The third one is the prime. The third one is the one, not the prime one, the one where we're going to multiply everything inside. So I'm going to show you an example. Let's say just use a, for example. I haven't used a. Just use a times, let's say we use a times c, 2, and then let's say they're all in the bracket, and then outside let's just put 3. So using this third rule, the number which is outside, it must multiply all the exponents which are inside. So in other words, this will be a to the power of 1 times 3, which is the exponent. And then again, we'll have the times, the base will be c. This will be 2 times 3. So the exponent outside will multiply everything. So then therefore we know 1 times 3, that will be 3. So this will be a to the power of 3 times c 2 times 3, that will be 6. So that will be our answer. Just give another example quickly. Let's say I have d to the power of 2 times, and then just call it z to the power of 4, then exponent, just call it exponent 4 outside. So the number that is outside, which is the exponent, it will multiply everything inside now. So this will be d 2 times 4, then there's other times, and then to be z should be 4 times 4, né? 4 times 4, and then this will give us 2 times 4, that will be 8, né? d8, and then z 4 times 4, that will be 16. That will be 16. So that will be our third rule. So you always multiply the exponent outside with everything inside, né? So the other rule that I want to quickly go to before the end of this video is the equating rule, né? The fourth one is the equating rule. I'm going to call the equating rule. So with the equating rule, for example, if I've got 2 to the power of x, and then let's just call it equals to 8, for example. So always remember, with the equating rule, either you must have the same base or the same exponent. So you can see they gave us exponent x there. So they're going to ask us to solve for x. So whenever you see a number in the exponent laws, always convert that number to give you the prime factors. So to do that, you go to your calculator, then you press the number 8, you press 8 and then equals to, and then you do shift, and then there's a button called fact in your calculator. It's somewhere, I think second button, yeah, somewhere in there's a button there which is called fact. Then you do shift and then do fact, and then that 8, they're gonna give 8 as 2 to the power of 3. You're bound to get 8 as 2 to the power of 3. They're bound to give you 8 as 2 to the power of 3. They're going to give you 8 as 2 to the power of 3. So you do 8 equals 2, then you do shift, then fact 8. That will be 2 to the power of 3. So now you see we've got the same base, which is 2 and 2. So in this law, if you've got the same base, your answer, you just equate the exponents. So if you've got the same base, your answer, you equate the exponents. Therefore, x will be equals to 3. Those are our exponent, which is x and 3. So the answer will just equate the exponent. So same thing, if I were to have 3 to the power of x, for example, let's say it's equals to 27. Equals to 27 now. So same thing again, it's a number 27. So do the same thing again. 27 is equals to, then do shift fact 27. And that should give you 3 to the power of 3. If I'm not mistaken, that should give you 3 to the power of 3. So always remember the aim is to have the same base. So whenever you get a number, let's try and make sure that the number that you get either be the same base or the same exponent. Here I've got the same base, which is 3 and 3. So therefore, remember, if you've got the same base, what do? We equate the exponents. Right? Same base, we equate the exponents. Therefore, our answer, x will be equals to the exponent, which is 3. So this applies nearly for everything. But be careful if you've got 16, for example. If you've got 16, and then let's say I've got 4 to the power of x. 4 to the power of x is equals to 16. Now you need to be careful, because if you were to do shift fact 16, it won't give you 4 to the power of something. So you must be careful of that. So whenever you get 16 here, always remember 4 to the power of 2 is the same thing as 16. So just change